Just slapped some lip gloss on. So we're gonna hope that it looks fine. Or lipstick.
Sure it does. It's probably not even high res enough anyway to see it.
I like that you say I'm sure it does when you're supposed to be looking at a video of me.
It's because it's not high res enough to tell.
Make me nervous. Um Hey everyone, welcome to the Pinfall podcast where Liz has her hair down and it probably won't stay that way because it's 5,001 degrees up here right now.
Why I have the window open, I'm hoping there's no loud noises that get on mic, but as soon as I say that, sounds like a race car is
You can
driving
hear
by.
motorcycles.
I think that's like
I
a
was gonna
drag
say.
racer. I don't think that's a motorcycle. Well, it might be. One of those Japanese ones.
Drag racer. How about drag racer rather than guy with annoying car?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So,
Welcome to the Pinfall podcast. I'm your host, Liz. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Mark. And we have a very special podcast episode today, don't we, Mark?
we do. Because we have a new North American champion, Bronson Reed.
I think... Am I crazy in thinking this?
What's
Probably
up?
crazy in thinking this. Is he not also... Oh, no, he's not. I thought he was also a Gemini baby, but he's not. Not everyone can be me.
Well, it is Liz's birthday podcast.
Unlike Mark, I actually don't get to celebrate my real-ass birthday on podcast this year.
I don't think I did.
Yeah, well, it was closer to yours.
Huh. Also, I just want to quickly say that I haven't been able to upload the Raw podcast on YouTube yet because I had to work today, and I normally do it the day after. But if you're subscribed, you can watch it on Twitch right now in the videos section.
No offense, Mark.
Hmm.
How could you not treat the podcast like it's your first job?
Because I make no money from this. You underpay me. I'm starting a union.
I join it?
No, it's only me and Pete's.
Oh, she doesn't do anything. She's the worst guest host we've ever had.
She's the only guest host.
And that could change if you ever want to be on this podcast, random stranger.
You know what we should have on the show? Your friend Benjamin.
Am I allowed to talk about this?
Maybe wait for his debut, but...
I've got a friend who's also wrestling right now, and
don't give
it's a very
away...
loose term.
Yeah, don't give away
I've got
promotions or name or anything.
Friend is kind of a looser term, I guess, like work friend. That's very exciting, and I will let everyone know when he's wrestling because I probably won't shut the fuck up about it. So,
And we should ask if he wants to be on the podcast. We could do an interview with him.
let's ease into that. Also, lovely nail polish. Like it. Fell off today while I was trying to chisel ice.
So on NXT today, we had Bronson Reed as our new North American champion, beating out Johnny. Need to change the graphic right below Liz. Let's see, some other big stuff. We had Prime Target for Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor. We got a great match between Toni Storm and Zoe Stark, and a fantastic match between Legado del Fantasma and Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, where we probably saw the best Raul Mendoza we've ever seen. We also saw the in-ring debut of Hit Row. And hold on, I'm trying to pull out my notes right now. We got Frankie Monet appearing. Bobby Fish challenging Pete Dunne. and Imperium turning on Alexander Wolf. And a whole bunch of matches announced for next week, and then a bunch for the week after. So, like, they are really trying to stack the cards every single week. And I love it.
It's so awesome. They're kind of taking a page out of AEW's book where it's like, you don't see everyone every week.
Mm-hmm.
But they make the most of who we do see.
Right. We don't need to see, like, we don't need to see Oni Lorcan every week. We don't need to see fucking Breezango every week. We don't need to see even Carrion every week. We barely saw him today. I mean, we saw him in the Prime Target, but not live. You know, we barely saw Raquel at all. We don't need to have the central focus of the episode be the main card. Central focus can be the mid card, like it was today with Johnny and Bronson.
Yeah.
And I think it was also divided between them and Candice and Indy.
Yeah. I think that it makes the most of their time, and like, I think in the first half hour we crammed so much shit in too that I was just like, to take a fucking breather after a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some people that like I get upset about not seeing because like we haven't seen Tyler Rust in like 5 years. What stuff have we seen? I mean, that's the only person that stands out to me right now. But
we probably will see him now that Bronson's a champion. But it's a very interesting episode. And it's definitely not as stacked as next week, which will be fucking massive. But it one thing I found really interesting was that Johnny Gargano was never a mid-card guy. He's been NXT champion. He's been in the center of the spotlight for like his entire NXT career. And he's been in this mid-card title for so long, and now he's finally out of it, and it's like, now we're just awaiting his time against Carrion, and we have an actual mid-card guy as the mid-card champ. And it's gonna be so exciting because now that's just another name to add to Carrion's challenger list, which could go on and on.
yeah, everything in NXT feels so open. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like nothing feels like the Johnny Bronson match tonight. I kind of thought Bronson was gonna win, but I kind of also didn't know. I like that.
Yeah, like in the middle of the match, I was like, you know, I could see Johnny winning and then Dexter getting the title. That could make much more sense. But it could have gone either way. It really could have. But I think the real giveaway was Johnny attacking Carrion 2 weeks ago. Or last week.
I guess that's fair. I didn't really think about
that. But we've got a big episode, so let's jump into the news.
Yes, please.
I wanna. You'll need to change the sign first of all. Okay.
To get the news open on my phone.
I want to reiterate that Friday's podcast will not have Liz, so it will be just me doing the podcast.
Probably won't have news. Probably won't have signs.
And I will destroy this show. Liz will come back, and the show basically won't exist anymore.
I love that, like, most boyfriends are like, oh, it's my girlfriend's, like, birthday time. I'm going to be really nice to her and treat her really well. And Mark's just like, I'm going to firebomb the one thing that gives Liz purpose.
Love
it.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. Um, we're gonna lose all of our followers, all of our subscribers. Basically gonna fucking. It's gonna be great. Everyone should definitely tune in tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Friday, cause it's Friday. Why wouldn't you tune in? Miriam said she's getting her popcorn ready.
It's like Mark keeps making fun of me because I'm like, oh, I'm really sad that I'm gonna miss the podcast episode. I haven't done that yet. Like, I don't really want to. And then Mark says things like this, and I'm like, okay. Should I stay?
It's gonna be great. Everyone's gonna be entertained.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry, stepfather. I can't come on vacation with you guys because my dear boyfriend that you both love has threatened to ruin things that I care about. So also I realize that my microphone is behind a beer bottle, a can of beer, and my water.
Alright, so news.
Yeah. First things first. My phone unlocks. There we go. So Don Kernodle, I don't really know how to pronounce his name, passed away at the age of 71. He first worked in NWA alongside Sergeant Slaughter and joined WWE in 1982 and stayed for about a year before returning to NWA. Not really known why he passed away, but very sad. 71's not that old.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
wishes to his family. Aside from that, just wanted to get that out of the way. Mr. Michael Mizanin. So, turns out that The Miz may as well have been eaten by those zombies. Because The Miz tore his ACL at Backlash. And, that's not exactly something you come back from off the bat.
Yeah. They're not sure if it's a partial or a full tear. If it's a full tear, then obviously he's going to be out for a very long time. But this happened apparently when Damian Priest, I believe, jumped off the turnbuckle and landed on Miz's leg. So we hope the best for the Miz. Were you gonna say more? Liz?
Holy shit.
Liz?
Yeah. Apparently he kept saying my name. Apparently, rehabilitation and return to normal function after surgical repair of an ACL tear can take 6 to 9 months.
And we know
from that vasectomy, he could have had another kid.
We know from Xavier Woods how long that can take.
Did he tear his ACL or did he tear his Achilles?
ACL. Achilles, you're out like forever. Like that is you can't come back from that. That's why it's called the Achilles heel.
I just thought it was called that because like it hurts like a motherfucker.
It does, and when it pops, when it breaks, it will sound like a gunshot when it goes off. Like,
yeah, my dad ran track, and apparently he knew somebody that tore his Achilles. Mm-hmm. He said that like he was on the other side of the track and he fucking heard it, and I said that doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's like it's like a rubber band breaking, but like imagine a really thick rubber band.
I want to actually.
It's one of the most painful things your body can experience.
Oh, don't do that.
But he was written off in a very, very good way, actually. Zombified, and John Morrison dedicated that last match to him. So, well, now all he can do is just rest, because there won't be any empty holes at all.
Yes. In addition to that, let's talk about the WWE Thunderdome staff are being really fucking confusing as of lately. So So people were starting to say that they were going to build Rhea up as a face because the directives for people watching in the Thunderdome were to cheer when she was on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, the directives, while Byron Saxton was like repulsed by what Angel Garza was doing, directives were for people to cheer for Angel.
Oh, I heard yesterday was victim to a ton of rewrites. That might have something to do with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, is it any shocker that Raw is victim to rewrites? Why is it that Raw has tons of rewrites, but not SmackDown?
Vince is probably too involved in Raw.
Vince takes Fridays off.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very confusing because, like, at least that's kind of been our pointer for, like, who's going to be built up as a babyface, who's going to be built up as a heel. And lately, they've just been fucking with it. So I don't know if they're trying to give a more realistic experience, like you and I were talking about, where it's like people will cheer for heels.
I think it's probably just a miscommunication, because if it was that, they would mix it up. But also the fact that they give directives in the first place is so dumb. Like, just let people cheer for who they want to cheer for. I mean, play the audio of, I don't know, an actual heel coming out. Don't just pull from, like, baseball audience sounds.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is that, like, I'm not paying attention to, like, if the people on the screens are cheering or booing. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying attention to what's happening in the ring, the thing that, like, I'm supposed to be paying attention to.
Yeah.
I don't see why it matters. I don't see why it matters so much. But again, it's Vince, and everything matters to Vince.
Yeah, and then it affects booking because they don't want, like, for example, Survivor Series, they give the title back to Drew so that people wouldn't cheer against, or wouldn't cheer for Roman against Randy.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's annoying, and it takes away from the whole experience. It's why we're clamoring for some crowds back.
Yeah, please, for the love of God. Also, we now know why Indus broke up, sort of. Indus, as people know, Rinku Singh is now part of this, like, kind of little faction that Jinder has with Dilsher Shanky. And now they're just Veer and Shanky. Currently, Indus was broken up because they deemed Saurav Gurjar not ready for television. On top of that, he's been in India this whole time. Since he was on TV for the, what the fuck is it called?
Superstar Spectacle.
Thank you. Since then, he's been in India. So he has not been capable of being on TV. And at this point, probably will not be capable of being on TV for a little while. So if you were wondering why Indus broke up, that's more or less why.
Yep.
Finally, I'd like to just discuss... You know, Ricochet always put a bad taste in my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know why, but there was just something about him where I was just like... And it turns out that I had every right to feel that way.
Was the bad taste in your mouth not that he's an anti-masker, basically?
Yeah, I guess that's... I think I forgot about that. Ricochet, in a now deleted tweet, because apparently everyone was like, that's fucked up. The context of this tweet is that he's talking about Io Shirai. He said, I'm not saying she's not amazing. She 100% is. I can do everything she can, probably even better. She can't do what I'm capable of, maybe not even half. That Florida water really has something in it, doesn't it?
Was that not related to the post WWE tweeted about like who's the best high flyer in WWE?
Probably was. Now that it's deleted, I don't have. Yeah. Yes, actually.
Okay.
Freckles
So
has that.
I mean that makes sense that he would say that because he was on that graphic. It was him, Io, I think Ray, and AJ Styles, who's not even a high flyer.
But still, like, I feel like there's reason for AJ to go after Ricochet because they're in the same brand, or even Ray to go after Ricochet because they're both on the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels very weird for Ricochet to go after the one person who's A, not in the main roster, A, as a woman, and B, as a woman, and C, he never has to, like, actually, like, it's weird that he would go and say, that's the target for this. Like, it's not like they're in a feud or they would ever be in a feud.
I don't know.
And you can't defend that kind of a tweet. That's, like, fucked up. It's a douchey tweet for him to do.
Maybe they're friends in real life. Or maybe he's teasing coming to NXT and feuding with Io Shirai.
Or maybe not everything is a work and he's just a dickhead. Could be the possibility.
Yeah. Allegedly. I have a piece of news before we wrap up the news. It's official. Kenny Omega and Andrade will be facing each other for the AAA Mega Championship at Triple Mania 2029. It's going to take place August 14th in Arena Ciudad de Mexico with live fans and audience. That sounds, yeah, good for Andrade. I mean, like, he gets released and gets a title match against the biggest wrestler in the world right now.
Yeah,
like,
it's impressive.
Yeah, like he had to do nothing. He made a video. That's it. Also, Miriam said, "What can Io do that I can't? Hold a memorable title reign, perhaps."
Speak on the microphone.
He was United States champion once, wasn't he?
She said memorable.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm asking.
So case in point, I think he had it for all of 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I think then the Money in the Bank briefcase was like cashed in or something.
I think Samoa Joe took it from him, or AJ, one of those two.
Yeah, he literally, I think his holding of that title may be one of the shortest reigns that they had.
I'm
also
currently checking.
Like you said, I've never seen Ricochet fucking put a trash can over his head and dive off a fucking cage.
Yeah. Io is fucking amazing. She doesn't deserve any kind of slander like that.
I think the thing that also just like kind of grates me a little bit is that like, because we don't have any basis for like if nobody knew who you and I were to each other, we were walking down the street and I just suddenly turned to you and said, "Hey, I don't think you're very good at anything that you do." People would probably be like, "Oh, that's fucked up." You know? Mm-hmm. So to not have that context, even if they are somehow friends, I think it's like really weird. And also to like go after the one woman on the list. I don't know, man. That doesn't sit so right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's wrong.
I'm currently
It's my birthday podcast, and therefore I'm right.
Still checking for okay. He won the United States Championship off of Samoa Joe at Stomping Grounds June 23rd. He lost the title to AJ Styles at Extreme Rules, where his reign was 21 days. The 3 weeks. But also, didn't realize Stomping Grounds was 3 weeks before Extreme Rules. That sounds awful.
You gotta put a filler pay-per-view in there somewhere.
Yeah. I'm seeing if there... Yeah, that's his only title reign, looks like. Didn't get anything in NXT.
Yeah, you know why? He's not as good as Io Shirai.
I'm also I found this video somebody posted on Reddit. It's fucking it makes me miss old Shayna. Apparently in a match against Ember Moon in NXT, Shayna dislocated her shoulder and she used the ring post to put it back into place. Like she grabbed like the thing connecting the turnbuckle to the post and rammed her shoulder twice into it. It was fucking brutal and badass.
Can you send that to me?
Huh?
Can you send that to me?
Sure.
Thanks.
But that's all of the that's all the news I got. If you have no more, then we can move on to matches and promos of this massive NXT episode.
I had no more, but my ear is ringing.
Nice.
I meant to leave the call and come back because I think that your audio is so foggy for me, and now I'm just sitting here and you sound like you're like talking to me through a potato.
Oh, sorry, I'll remove the potato.
Get the potato off the microphone.
It's in my mouth.
In case anyone was wondering, yes, the clothes behind me are the first attempts at packing, because if I don't do it tonight, I'll probably start crying tomorrow. I do so good at packing, Mark knows. There's never been a single time that I've tried to pack for a place and not broken down crying.
It's true.
I don't know why, I'm really bad at it.
Alright, so in this NXT, we started off with Toni Storm versus Zoe Stark to wrap up that feud. And Liz, how did it go? First off, I just want to say, actually, Toni Storm came out in some fantastic looking gear. Very nice, holographic, like, burgundy. Beautiful.
Toni Storm on the heels of me saying, I'm not really into Toni Storm that much. Comes out here in this brand new gear that looks really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Hair looking incredible. And then on the outside of the shallow reasonings, looked incredible tonight.
Oh, she did. You looked amazing. I mean, it's also...
Toni Storm doesn't usually look bad.
Right, but it's also hard to outdo Zoe Stark. And I definitely think that she did. In terms, not even like in terms of booking and winning, but just how she looked.
What I like about Zoe, again, this is very shallow, but Zoe's gear is very, like, the colors are very effeminate.
It's also simple.
It's simple, but the colors are very effeminate, and I think that's really cool, because, like, a lot of times wrestlers that are, like, kind of got the bodybuilding physique and, like, the nasty fucking moveset, colors are usually darker, more, like, neutrals and grays. Then you got fucking Zoe Stark out here wearing, like, a nice pink and a blue, and I'm like... Alright. Zoe Stark spears Storm into the corner. Also, let me just tell you, this feud has fucked me up so bad, because writing Zoe Stark versus Toni Storm is hard enough because Zoe and Toni sound so similar, and then I've got the st and the r.
Yeah.
And so it's like this whole match was just me like typing and being like, fuck, no, that wasn't right. So Stark spears Storm into the corner. We get a drop kick to Toni that sends her from the ring, and then Zoe dives out onto Toni. Then there's a bananas missile drop kick. Like, dislodges Toni from her soul for a moment there. Toni pulls Zoe into the apron, tailbone first. She then sends her into the stairs. We get a hip check into Zoe's head, into the stairs. And then once we're back in the ring, there's a big snap suplex to Zoe, a big boot to the face as she rebounds off the ropes. Stark starts fighting back and sends some knees to the midsection of Toni. Doesn't last long. She gets shoved into the corner and then hurled across the ring. Toni then takes to bending Zoe's back over her knee, uppercuts Stark, One misses and Stark rolls Tony up. We get an enziguri to Tony and a boot to the face of Storm, as well as a sliding clothesline to Storm. And finally, a sliding knee to Storm. We're just sliding all around. Tony goes for some sort of like pile driver type move, but I wrote Storm instead of Stark. God damn it, Elizabeth. But Storm. Stark, for fuck's sake, gets her legs around Tony's neck and slams her into the ground. I feel sort of like that, like How I Met Your Mother gif, where he's like trying to spell out professor. There's the girl in the class that's like, supposed to like leave it as one S, and she just goes, so he turns it to two S's. She's like, that's how I feel when I'm doing this.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I've never seen that show, but I've seen that gif at least 41 times.
If you don't like Friends, you might like this a little more.
Okay.
It's basically the same thing as Friends, but more modern.
I think the thing that I hate about How I Met Your Mother, just like from an outsider's perspective, is just that it's so loved by people. And also, like, Barney's legendary thing was done to death, in my opinion. Like, it was like Bazinga after a point.
It was not as bad as Bazinga, guaranteed, because...
except I can now say Bazongle, and it's kind of funny.
Well, the people who were saying Bazinga all the time were, like, middle-aged mothers. People saying legendary were like, advertisements. Stuff like that. So... one was done by actual people, the other done by corporate entities. But also the bro code thing was, that was done to death.
I don't know what that is.
I bought the book. This is when I was a kid and obsessed with the show. I didn't buy it. My dad got it for me as a gift.
Sometimes I like look back at all the things I own because like my family assumed I was obsessed with something. I'm just like the number of like Harry Potter like side books that I have outside of the one that your father gave us, which is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I get so many of them, and I'm like, God damn it, Elizabeth, you were like kind of a nerd.
Still are.
I'm sorry. Maybe the bullies had a point, babe.
I mean, you watch fucking wrestling. You are a nerd. No offense to all wrestling fans watching right now, but you're nerds. I mean, fucking nerds.
You're also wrestling fans, so. At the end of the day, you know I'm hot. So it doesn't matter. You're my boyfriend! Birthday podcast is going to be the one where I go crazy, I think.
Anyway, you want to continue?
Yeah, I was about to finish the match, I think. So, okay, yeah, I didn't put enough emphasis on this because I was mad about my stupid brain. Tony goes for some sort of driver. Stark gets her legs wrapped around Tony's fucking neck and slams her into the ground. I was like, holy shit. We then get a half and half suplex. Tony hits a German suplex, and then we get a Storm Zero, but Zoe still kicks out. Finally, Tony hits Zoe Stark. Like I missed it the first time, and then they showed the repeat of it, and I still don't know how to describe it. Like she launched her over her side, did like a pile driver Uranagi type combination. I don't know, man.
I don't know. A crazy match put on by two fucking amazing women. It was fucking awesome. And then we ended the match with Frankie Monet coming out. And now we have her challenger for next weekend. She didn't even have to say a single word for us to get that challenge. She came out, lights, spotlights came on her. The graphics around showed next week debut, and I'm fucking excited. I really am. All right. So after that, we had an interview with Legado del Fantasma. They're asked where Santos is. They said, "Don't worry about where Santos is," and that worries me. Where's Santos? It could be a kayfabe thing, and he's just, not showing up because he lost to Kushida. Or it could be he's sick or something, or he's injured, or but also Triple H is very transparent about injuries, so I don't think it would be that. Or it could be he's moving up to the main roster or something.
I don't think so. I think Santos just took the day off. I don't think that. I think it's just because, like, right now they need to figure out what they're going to do with him next.
Who won between Santos and Karrion? Was it Karrion?
Yes.
Because I was going to say maybe Santos goes for Karrion Kross next, but maybe Santos will go... Ooh, Santos could go for Bronson. Try and get the North American title. That would be a great match.
There you go. You could do it.
They then respond with, "Where's MSK?" They deserve a title match against MSK. Then Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher come in. Tommaso says, "Legado never beat us. Neither have MSK. So we deserve that title shot." Then Timothy Thatcher just says, "El gato no tiene zapatos," which means
Go on. Sorry. Go on.
It means the cat doesn't have shoes. At least he got all of the masculine endings correctly. Like, that's consistent. Yeah.
So to be fair, cats don't have shoes.
No.
So it's a logical sentence.
Yeah. He got the TNA right. Like, he got the right pronouns and everything.
Also, as I was about to say, lest we forget, that was started with a very direct, "Hey!" I don't know why, but he did that. And I was just like, me!
Like, he had to get it out. You can clearly see that either Wilde or Mendoza taught him how to say that.
I think that'd be so funny. It makes me so sad still that he's, like, in this tag team with Tommaso.
Oh my, wait, no. Well, yeah, but, like, he's getting such a big spotlight from it, and he's in such a good spot. Plus, their tag team meshes really well in kayfabe. Like, I think this is great for Thatcher. It's not like Elias, where his career is literally being held back.
Realistically, you might get another fight pit with him and Tommaso if all goes well. Or if all goes well.
We'll see. I don't know. Be interesting. Well, what was that one match where it was like the cages stacked on top of each other? It was like a pyramid of cages. It was like somebody's special stipulation, but I can't remember what it was called.
I only remember it from that one movie.
Yeah. I forget the name of the movie.
Hang on.
I think, wasn't it the Great Khali's? No, it wasn't the Great Khali's thing. It was
All I know is that
Naruto,
it's from Ready to Rumble.
Well, that's the movie where they showed it, but it was also done in real life.
I'm looking at Pyramid Cage Match.
Yeah, maybe they'll come up with something, but I'd like to see
Just called it Triple Cage Match.
Triple Cage Match.
Yeah.
Okay. I would love to see Champa versus Walter. Oh, actually, we already had that. So maybe Thatcher versus Walter, something like that. In the triple cage.
Asher versus Walter. I don't know if I'd make it through that.
Yeah. Because we already got Champa versus Walter. Unless it's like a steel cage or something. That'll be the only way to kind of make it different. But I feel like we're past the whole Thatcher joining Imperium phase.
Hey, don't say that.
I think we are. I think we're past it.
I think you're wrong.
But anyway, the Tommaso and Thatcher challenge Legado to a match later. And that match is accepted. Then we cut to a car pulling into the CWC. Cameron Grimes gets out, tosses some keys to Jake Atlas and says, "Park it up front." Jake Atlas looks confused, but that says Ted DiBiase has the spot in front. And Cameron Grimes starts yelling. It is also revealed that Jake Atlas and Cameron Grimes have a match. We then cut to the way, Candice and Indy getting a massage. Candice says, "We deserve this. The title, the praise, all of it." Indy says, "You were so right about Dexter Loomis." We then see that Dexter is the one giving the massage to Indy. She said, "He's a complete loser." Dexter then walks out all sad. Indy says, "We did it our way." Did it. Also, how fucking creepy of Dexter to just be giving Indy a massage. Like, that's like a stalker.
To be fair, the way I saw it was the person that started out was obviously not Dexter. So 90% of that massage was not him. It was just the noggin part.
Okay, but still, he snuck in and started giving a massage to Indy. Like, that is stalker level.
Let me abandon my morals for a moment to say that I ship them.
I mean, yeah, most fans are shipping them, which is great. I'm shipping them, but he's got to stop being a stalker.
Maybe that's the way to do it.
Yeah. After that, we get the prime target. Miriam said there's an unconscious masseuse in a closet somewhere in that spa who has no idea what just happened to them.
I can just imagine Dexter like hiding somewhere and you just see like a tattooed arm go pull the other masseuse away. Goes back like Hitman.
Yeah, or it's like when he reaches his arm out from under the ring, grabs someone's leg and pulls them under. So we have the prime target with Finn Balor and Karrion Kross for their match next week. They're rewatching their first title match, and the finish. Karrion starts. He says that his conviction. Oh no! Finn said that Karrion said that his conviction would be his biggest strength. He said he felt the strength and agility of that conviction firsthand. It's a really well done video package. We even get Pat McAfee and Paul Heyman weighing in. And interestingly enough, Paul Heyman says that Roman Reigns will be watching this match. I don't know if that alludes to anything. I hope it does. I hope Roman...
Take Karrion to the main roster. Please.
Well, I mean, yeah, he would thrive in the main roster. But at the same time, I want Roman to be the belt collector of WWE. I want him to take out Karrion. I want Drew to get the title back so that Roman can take it away from him. I only want Drew to get it if Roman takes it away from him. I want Roman to carry all 3 belts. Maybe even go to the UK, fight Walter, get a 4th belt.
Are you implying that Drew has to get the belt because they're not going to let him face another heel?
Exactly. And also, I don't want Bobby to lose. But if he has to lose to Drew so that Drew can take the spear from Roman, fine.
Duly noted. Spear on spear.
We already got that. We got Roman and Edge doing that.
Yeah, but now this is Bobby, and it's two different types of spear.
Big meaty men slapping each other.
Spear in different fonts.
Okay. Let's see. After that prime target, we got Jake Atlas versus Cameron Grimes.
Grimes versus Atlas. Short match. Get a drop kick to a confused Cameron Grimes because he comes out there full of piss and vinegar, just talking shit about Ted DiBiase, and everyone's actually quite thrilled. Everyone's chanting Ted's name. So Cameron Grimes is just lost on that one. Gets drop kicked. His uppercuts to Jake in the corner. Yeah.
Jake Atlas was even chanting his name.
Was he? I didn't even notice that.
He started clapping too.
There's uppercuts to Jake in the corner. Atlas gets a hard kick under the chin of Grimes. Goes for a suplex, but Grimes sends an elbow back into his face. There's a boot to the face of Grimes and then a tornado arm drag. Get another drop kick and then a flying head scissors to Grimes. Grimes sends Atlas up and over the ropes onto the apron. There's a punch to Grimes and a boot to the midsection that flips Atlas over his knee, over Grimes' knee. We get a deep clothesline to Grimes. Atlas Irish whipped into the buckles. There's a big slap to the face of Grimes. Grimes is then sent jaw first into the top buckle. And Teddy DiBiase is here. He is driving in. There's a kick under the jaw to Grimes and then a big old discus lariat. Atlas goes up top, manages to get down before Cameron Grimes can catch up to him. Grimes then Puma tackles his ass.
Hey, no. Power
It's my
slam.
birthday podcast. It's my birthday podcast. It's the Puma tackle.
On Friday, I'm gonna call every move a power slam. Just to mess with you. And I hope you watch. I hope you watch the podcast when I do it. Rub it in your face. What is knocking on my door right now? I hope it's the wind. Probably the wind. I have the window open.
Okay. Totally not a ghost. Anyways, Cameron Grimes, Puma tackles Jake Atlas. Then Ted DiBiase is actually here in the building at the top of the ramp. Cameron Grimes is befuddled, if you will, and Jake Atlas rolls him up to win, which might be Jake Atlas's first win this year.
No.
Okay.
Let's find out exactly.
Love to.
It's a good thing I keep track of all this stuff. Jake Atlas has had 6 wins, including this one. He's kind of dominant on 205 Live.
Oh, okay. I meant on NXT.
Even then, I don't think so. I think he's had some others. But I love when they chant for Cameron Grimes, they don't chant Cameron Grimes, they chant to the moon. I love that. But after that, we had a promo with Bronson Reed. He's recalling his first match, which happened 14 years ago to the day. That is insane. He said this is now the biggest match of his life. He starts talking all about his career, where he traveled, and how he came to where he is now. He said he'll walk out champion, then walk over to his wife and say, after 14 years, we did it. And after that promo, you just knew he was not going to lose.
Interesting way for me to find out that Bronson Reed has a wife.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to watch movies with someone.
An interesting way for me to find out that Bronson Reed watches movies.
Oh, he's a cinephile. He posts reviews on Letterboxd a lot.
God, stop.
I love him.
It's cute.
He's posted pictures of him just laying on the couch watching a movie. I think with this cat on
So
top
his
of him or something like that.
kitties. Yeah. His little kitties.
Bronson Reed is a gem. He is a prince, and he's a national treasure. But after that, we had an interview with Pete Dunne. He says he starts going over all the people he might want to fight next. And he's asked about the respect that he's been receiving. He said he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the respect that he gets because it all shows in the ring. His career speaks for itself. He's asked about his inspiration for his style, and he says his inspiration comes from traditional British wrestling, particularly Fit Finlay. And then he's asked about the next year and next 5 years. He says he used to set goals, but now he doesn't. Instead, he just takes opportunities when he finds them. Very interesting interview. Felt pretty real. Nice. Very, very human interview. But after that, we have Alexander Wolf versus Killian Dane.
Alexander Wolf versus Killian Dane, which I pointed out to Mark. It's kind of funny because like his last name is Wolf and Killian's last name is Dane. It's Wolf. This is a Great Dane.
And neither are spelled right.
Well, Wolf is not. Dane is just missing part of it.
Well, Wolf is spelled wrong.
I said Wolf is not right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Unless, wait, is Killian Dane D-A-N-E or D-A-I-N?
D-A-I-N.
But then they're both, yeah, you're right. They're both spelled wrong. Sorry. I thought it was spelled like Great Dane.
Do you have it
thinking.
written all of your notes that it's D-A-N-E?
Anyways. So Wolf gets jabbed at, manages a knee to the face of Dane and a boot to the face, and then starts stomping the heck out of Dane. There's an uppercut to Killian, and then Wolf is sent into the buckles. I missed about 5 seconds of this match. Wolf ends up getting a chair because I think Marcel sends it into the ring. It's like, hey, fucking use this for the love of God because I am sick and tired of sitting here watching you being a little puss. Alexander Wolf hesitates. Says, oh, I don't know about that one. I'm not so sure. I like being a people pleaser. The moment he thinks to actually use it, he is annihilated by a crossbody from Killian. Killian wins. And you can see in the pixelated, like they were doing like a replay of what was happening in one corner and the fucking like what's actually happening now in the other corner. In the 3 pixels that were Marcel's face, I could see the disgust. So Killian and Drake walk off. I was like, well, why is Imperium still like in the fucking ring? Like, you guys aren't gonna get your song played. Go home. And Mr. Marcel Bartel and Fabian, they get into their little positions. Marcel's like, you know what, Alexander? You go step up. You step up. You know why? Because we're some backstabbing bitches and we're gonna get you, but we're not gonna tell you that right now. Makes him step up. Just as I had suspected, because the moment I saw him push him forward, I was like, I'm not going to be disappointed here. I know I won't be. And what happens? But they fucking attack him. It's not good. It's not good for Alexander Wolf tonight. I guess this is his departure gift from Imperium.
Yep.
His turn for Wolf.
Very clear that Alexander Wolf is no longer in Imperium, although next week we'll probably get him and Walter face to face, if not a match. Well, Walter's the big boss who's got to keep stuff in line. If he,
I was gonna say, I don't know about face to face, but maybe like face to video screen.
No, I think if it's Alexander Wolf being kicked out of Imperium, he'll be there face to face. I have a strong feeling.
He's not doing anything on NXT UK right now.
Plus, he's no stranger to flying back and forth. I mean, look at what he did for Stand and Deliver. But yeah, this is a massive shift for Imperium. Whether or not they'll fill that spot is unknown, but it looks very exciting. Now, after that match, we get an interview with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. We're both looking fantastic. The interviewer asked them about what happened last week. What happened last week? Was there an attack or something? Because Raquel said that she saw the comments about the attack. What? Who was attacked? Was it Ember and Shotzi? I don't think I remember seeing. Oh, why don't I go up in my notes? Why don't I do that? Raw.
Yeah.
Backlash.
We're there.
SmackDown. Leon Ruff, Johnny and Regal, Pete Dunne, Legato, Frankie Monet, Swerve, Johnny and Austin, Swerve, House Auction, Zoe Stark, The Way, Bronson Reed. Yeah, so nothing during the episode is probably something posted just on Twitter or YouTube. Yeah, they say they saw the comments on Twitter about the attacks after the match. Raquel says that we're friends, we're allowed to do that. Dakota then says we're gonna go after the tag titles next. Again, I'm so glad she's still pushing them being a tag team. It's so cute. It's so lovely. Because we know they're not going to last very long. And then Everrise walk in.
Yay!
I'm starting to warm up to Everrise. I really am.
How could you not? Chase Parker with his beautiful little face and Matt Martell with his... Matt Martell!
I loved the hand going over the monitor and putting like the Everrise show sign up. That was great. But they said Shotzi and Ember are next in line. They continue to provoke Raquel and Dakota. Raquel fires back, and Matt Martell's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? You gonna hit me? You gonna hit me? I'll take you. I'll take you on." And then Raquel just slaps him right in the face. He spills his whole coffee cup. He's like, they both walk off, and Matt Martell's like, "What happened? What happened?" And Chase Parker's like, "You got sucker punched. You got sucker punched real bad." And Matt Martell's just like, "My coffee cup okay?"
The best part was that like Martell's like come up, he's like, "What happened?" And Chase is just like, you got a little bit of a sucker punch. You got a little bit of a sucker punch." And I was like, "You're idiots." And I love you. I love that they share one single brain cell. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm. It's great. But after that, we have Legado del Fantasma versus Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. But before we get to that, I found a very interesting post on Reddit that somebody posted from Amanda Huber's Twitter story. I'm not sure. Doesn't look like an Instagram story. But she said, and this is in regards to Bruce Mitchell having an interview with Dave Meltzer. Bruce Mitchell was the one who made the shitty comments about Brody Lee. She said, "Hot take, if your apology reads anything along the lines of, I'm really sorry for the people who were offended, it's not a fucking apology. Also, if you are genuinely apologizing to someone, maybe reach out to them directly instead of showboating. I guess genuine is the key word here. Oh, and one last spicy take since I'm in a mood. When you double down on a statement, it's not a misread. Just because you got clocked for it and you tried to backpedal doesn't mean what was written wasn't written."
off Amanda.
Yeah, honestly. Like, Bruce Mitchell's a piece of shit.
Bruce Mitchell is a piece of shit.
There's not much more.
Poor Amanda, she's held her own in such a way that, like, amazes me.
I mean, thank God she's had, like, the entirety of AEW behind her. And some of WWE.
Sure that Preston finally has a little brother that he gets to have wherever he wants.
And Tony Khan's been really taking care of her.
Tony Khan, I don't trust within an inch of my life, but I do respect him in that sense.
You don't trust him because you don't know much about him.
I don't trust him because he's a rich bastard.
He's the son of a rich bastard.
Marcus.
Liz, it's two different types of rich. It's old rich and new rich. He is old rich.
I'm not going to get into the semantics of the 1% right now. I'm just going to say that it's great that Tony has been so good to the Uber family.
Yes.
In light of everything.
It really is.
Regardless of what I think. All right. Me and Tommaso versus Legado. Or Wilde and Mendoza. Which, by the way, also during that interview earlier with Legado and Tommaso, I didn't realize. I mean, Joaquin Wilde is like deceptively old. His voice sounds like he's like 25. It was just something that stood out to me in such a way that I was like sitting there and I was like, there's no fucking way that he's as old as he is. He is. He's like a veteran of like wrestling.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know I looked this up like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, he's 34. He's not a young dude.
Mm-hmm.
As far as wrestling is concerned.
Even as far as wrestling is concerned, I think it's still pretty young.
He's younger, but like he's been around.
Mm-hmm.
It's just he's just got such a young voice and face. God, I wish that would be me one day when I'm 34 if I would look like him. So we start with Wilde versus Champa. Wilde slides on in, is way too fast for Champa to keep up with. Champa ends up dodging an elbow drop and throws Wilde into the barricade. The shoulder tackle that drops Wilde. Tim gets in, gets a rear chin lock on Wilde, who eventually escapes and gets Mendoza in. There's a headlock into a takedown, into an armbar, into a waist lock, into a wrist lock on Mendoza from Tim. Gets Champa back in while still holding on to Mendoza's wrist. There's a foot under the jaw of Champa, who ends up punching the shit out of Mendoza, bonks him into the buckles. Thatcher gets back in. We get another rear headlock. Mendoza finally powers out, knees Tim in the stomach. We get a headlock on Tim. I believe at this point was when Mendoza started bleeding.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that I don't mention with in the span of time between starts punching the shit out of Mendoza and everything else, Champa goes in with an arm that basically hits Mendoza like here. I think because the blood was coming from his nose.
No, Vic said he busted his lip.
Did he? It looked like it was coming out of here.
I mean, well, he was also thrown around a bunch, so it probably like splashed up there. But I'm just going based on what Vic Joseph said.
In my opinion, he broke his nose. In Vic's opinion, that's not what happened.
But also the fact that when medical came to check on him, the bleeding stopped very quickly.
I mean, you know when somebody breaks their nose because we saw that with Dave Mastiff. That was a broken nose.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, when Ilya was just like, he deserved it.
And I'm The other person I was thinking of who broke their nose was on the Mets.
Oh, we didn't see that. But I mean, when Dave broke his nose, that was like Christopher Daniels level, just blood.
Yeah, it's because you can't do anything with a broken nose because the fucking danger is so high because the cartilage in your nose can shoot up into your brain if you hit it too much.
The one piece of advice that I've ever learned from two men, if you ever need to protect yourself against somebody attacking you, I do not suggest this. I'm not condoning this. Just to start, is to get the base of your palm right here.
Yeah.
Because if you don't fucking send the bones of their nose into their brain, you're gonna fuck them up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The blood that'll come out will be more than enough. But I've had two separate men who did not know each other tell me to do that, and I was like,
I was taught to do that in health class.
Really?
Health class and astronomy, because both those teachers in high school understood that high school students don't have an attention span longer than I think it was 16 minutes. So they started teaching for 16 minutes, then taught actual life lessons for the rest of the class.
I was at a friend's house once. We were just hanging out outside, and her uncle came out, gave us a full rundown on how to fucking defend yourself against a man, and part of it included pulling their earlobe back. Okay, you don't have to burst the door open like that. Just smack that shit. Anyway, so Mendoza's bleeding profusely. Luckily, we did get the one thing I like about NXT is that they're pretty transparent. So when they were like, "Oh, medical checked on Mendoza to make sure he was okay," they showed us medical checking on Mendoza, and I was like, "Oh, okay, good." I feel less like he's wrestling broken cartilage.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, it's so funny with NXT and NXT UK. You know the injury is bad when you can see the blood on the mat because the mats are both black.
Right.
It's when you can see the blood, you're like.
I mean, in all fairness, there was a moment where Mendoza spits up blood.
That was bad.
Mm-hmm.
I did not care for that. That was actually after Thatcher got in and got the rear headlock on. Mendoza kind of spluttered blood out. I was like, I shouldn't see that flying through air. I shouldn't be able to see that. Let's see if I can.
Okay.
Look at the baby.
All right.
Sorry.
That's a.
I'm wearing pants. Okay, so being sidetracked. Knees Tim in the stomach. We get a headlock on Tim, and then a drop kick to the knee that leaves Tim face planting. There's a big kick to Thatcher's chest and an ankle lock on Mendoza. Then we get an ankle lock on Wild from Champa, who jumps in because I guess you can be in the ring if you're not legal for however long you want when Drake Wirtz is the fucking referee. Anyways. This results in both of Legado avoiding this move with a roll-up, and then Thatcher gets dropkicked. Champa starts fighting both Wild and Mendoza. We go to commercial break, thank God, because it broke down in such a wild and weird way that I could not keep up with it. Champa gets in, starts attacking. Oh, right, Thatcher didn't get dropkicked. I know Thatcher ended up dropkicking somebody. I wrote this in at this point because I did not know where it happened, and I realized I'd forgotten to write it in.
Mm-hmm.
But we watched Thatcher dropkick somebody, which is always so fun because Thatcher is not the person you would expect to be dropkicking people.
Yeah.
It's Timothy Thatcher. But we get back. Champa is in. He's attacking both men still, bouncing off ropes into opposite corners with forearms. Finishes with a double clothesline to both Wilde and Mendoza. Mendoza starts stomping on Champa. Wilde gets in. We get a team spinebuster. They pulled Ciampa's legs before a team drop kick to the side. Raul Mendoza tries to dive into Ciampa, but Ciampa dodges as if Mendoza fucking needed that. So Mendoza goes fucking flying through the air. God bless that man. He fucking throws his body around like it means nothing. Maybe it's just because he's kind of young. Like,
I mean, the human body is very resilient. Surprisingly.
The human body is resilient when you believe that the human body is resilient. That's the problem. You kind of have to like believe that it's going to be fine, and then things are fine. But Raul Mendoza is actually only 4 years older than us. All right. Tim gets in, starts uppercutting Mendoza before suplexing him. Ciampa gets back in. There's a running knee strike to Mendoza. Mendoza dodges Ciampa, kicks him in the head. There's a chop that's no-sold on Mendoza, and then a back heel kick to Ciampa. Ciampa tries for the fairy tale ending, can't get that. Mendoza back body drops him instead. Sends a knee strike to his face. Wilde gets in. And then he gets springboard lateral press to Ciampa from Mendoza, and then a springboard lateral press to Ciampa from Wilde. Thatcher starts being a little nuisance, pulls Mendoza out of the ring, starts fighting him ringside, punches him. Wilde dives out onto Thatcher. This, however, gives Tommaso the opportunity to pull the Widow's Bell off onto Wilde as he climbs back into the ring. And then Grizzled Young Veterans interfere. James Drake looking fantastic as always. They drop Ciampa face first into the apron, and Legado end up getting the win because of this.
Right.
With their team offense. I don't know what it is, and I could not keep up with it. I know I do this every week, but...
After that, we had an interview with Bobby Fish. He has his sights set on Oney Lorcan and Pete Dunne. And in response to that, Pete Dunne just... He quote tweeted of the clip on Twitter and just said, daft. But he says he's been sidelined by Oney and Pete in order to watch Yui implode. Pete claims that he's the matchup in NXT. I'm going to show him that he's wrong. And then we have a promo with The Way. Candice and Indy are trying to pay and leave. Their card got declined, though. The lady says that Candice has an unpaid expense on her card. She said, oh, it must be from Austin. Buying those milkshakes. The lady says, but was at a florist. Candice is like, no, that's not possible. Someone must have taken my card or whatever. And then Indy says, wait, a florist? And who was it that figured it out? Was it Indy or Candice that kind of pieced everything together?
Candice knew the whole time.
Or, I mean, did Candice admit, or did Indy figure
it out?
Okay, so Indy figured out that Candice was the one who bought the flowers to give to Shotzi and Ember and blamed Dexter. And Indy comes out of it saying, Dexter still loves me, and runs off. I was so worried that if this got out, it would break up The Way, but I am so glad it's not. That Indy is still happy-go-lucky, and we are going to get Index, ideally.
As we deserve.
Yes. So after that, we had a promo with Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory. Johnny says he's going to show Bronson that he isn't on my level. We left Karrion Kross laying, and we'll do the same to Bronson. Johnny says he does a back and forth with Austin, like, I think when something like, what happens to the unbeatable? You beat him. What happens to the unstoppable? You stop him. Like something like that. And then Johnny says, I am untouchable. That should have been foreshadowing enough for you there, right there, Johnny. Bronson touched you. Oh, man. So after that match, we had Aaliyah versus Saray.
Yes, we do. And what a match this was. There's a kick to the stomach of Saray, and then arm drag after arm drag and a drop kick to Aaliyah. Jessie Camilla tries to interfere, giving Aaliyah the upper hand for a little bit. There's a back elbow to the face of Saray, and then just fucking throws her across the ring. It's really kind of incredible to me. We start exchanging blows, but then we get a spinning heel kick and a big bridging German suplex to Aaliyah. There's a drop kick off the top rope to Aaliyah, as well as a drop kick across the face. And finally, we just get a Saito suplex to call it a day, landing Aaliyah high up on her shoulders. Great. A short match, but a very... What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Compelling match.
Yeah. After that, we had a promo with Shotzi and Ember. They said it's time to get wild. We're getting back on track for the title. TCB. I don't know what TCB stands for. TCB.
Chosen bitches.
I think the T is taking. I don't know. Oh, okay. Miriam said taking care of business. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know how I didn't piece that together. After that,
I feel silly.
Yeah. After that, we get yet another Diamond Mine promo. No idea when they're coming. There's no information given with this promo, just their catchphrases. But after that, we have Hit Row's debut against Tony Nese and Arya Daivari.
I really can't wait for Brianna Brandy to debut.
Her
She's
name
so
is
attractive.
B-Fab.
Sorry, B-Fab. She's so attractive and makes me so mad. I mean, I'm gonna sound like fucking Vic Joseph tonight because I have to say Top Dollar multiple times. Because I cannot break that down into first and last names. Mr. Top. But I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous going into this just because sometimes when you get people that are from other sports careers, sometimes it doesn't translate well into wrestling. Or translates too well, and it's like kind of like, oh god, did you just kill that man? But both Top Dollar and Ashante did amazing tonight. In a way that makes me so excited to see what the fuck the plan is.
Mm-hmm.
So we start with Ashante Adonis and Tony Nese. There's Ashante gets in quickly, but gets an elbow to the face. He pancakes Tony before kipping up. Then we get Top Dollar in. He fucking tosses Tony Nese by the hand, picks him up, and launches him. Which I said, I don't think you're going to be able to do that multiple times for multiple people, but I respect the effort tonight. Arya Daivari gets him. He gets both... Top Dollar gets both Arya and Nese on his back, plants them. Ashante gets in. We get a flurry of offense onto Ashante, but it's also down with a drop kick to the literal face of Arya. You don't need to get up. Okay. I just pet the cat's like the side of her face, not realizing she was yawning. I accidentally impaled myself on her tooth.
Aww.
Sorry, cat. Where are you going? Adonis just kind of goes off a little bit in the sense that he doesn't stop stomping Arya in the corner. Even after the ref is like, hey, could you just not do that right now? I don't know. Top Dolly gets in and has to like kind of talk Ashante off the ledge. Finally gets him out of the ring, drops Arya with a fireman's carry takeover to win. But it was a great showing, and it's nice seeing these 205 guys at least getting some time in. Because I know that they're not treated poorly on 205. So
now, if only they could have Tony Nese and Arya Daivari do something substantial.
So we almost got it. What was it? Was it Arya versus Arturo Ruas? What it was?
Wasn't it Kushida? Arya Daivari had a different match. I think it was Kushida versus Ruas.
I don't remember now. I don't, but I know that we saw him once, and I forgot that I don't know if he was on 205 at this point, if he was new or not, but he was like amazing. And I was like, man, I wish we could get more of that. And then they said 205 Live, go check that out. And I was like,
no, he's been one of the staples in 205 Live, like as long as Tony Nese has.
Oh, I didn't know that he was part of 205 Live.
Okay. Alright, so after that match, though, we had an interview with William Regal. He says Legado will face MSK for the tag title in 2 weeks. He's kind of giving updates on the title scenes. He gives some more interesting updates, including next week will be Ember Moon and Shotzi versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez for the next contender for the women's tag title. They're trying to figure out who the next challenger for Kushida is. And they're trying to find out who the next challenger for Raquel is. And after that, we got another Frankie Monet video package, again showing that she has her world premiere next week. And then we have, finally, Bronson Reed versus Papa Gargano in a steel cage match for the North American Championship.
Correct. Johnny Gargano quickly off the bat says, get me the fuck out of here. Tries to dive through the door, tries to climb up the sides, does not really work. Bronson ends up swatting, jumping Johnny Gargano down to the canvas. Gets lawn darted into the steel cage side, and then Bronson just starts pressing Johnny into that cage. He goes to jump at Johnny, who dodges him, landing him on the chain link fence. Johnny then tries a springboard spear, but gets caught up, so Bronson hits him with a Draper DDT. Johnny then gets a springboard moonsault down onto Reed. Bronson starts climbing and is distracted by Theory. We get a super kick to Bronson, a power slam to Johnny from Bronson, and a forearm. There's an inverted atomic drop before a catapult into the steel caging, and then a Simone drop off the second rope to Johnny. Johnny punches at Bronson's knee as he goes to escape, kind of trying to get Bronson down a level. But this ends in something that I didn't think we would see tonight. I don't think I expected to see it all in any Johnny match, but Johnny Gargano powerbombs Bronson off the fucking ropes. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. After this match, I feel like Johnny's gonna take a break for like a week at least.
He needs like a little nap.
Yeah.
So Johnny goes to escape. Fury tries to help him, but Bronson is stronger than that. He ends up... Oh, sorry. Let me give more context to that. Johnny goes to escape through the door. Fury tries to pull him out. Bronson tries to pull him back in. Bronson succeeds. Bronson then sits on Johnny. Bronson nearly escapes. We get a super kick to Reed and then a powerbomb. And a powerbomb attempt I know we're very frenetic because the pace of the match at this point was very frenetic. There's a super kick to Reed. Reed ends up trying to powerbomb Johnny, but lifts him up the cage side. Johnny starts scrambling up the wall, stops, realizes his momentum, gets a poison Rana to Bronson Reed. Poison fucking Rana to Mr. Reed himself.
Oh yeah, that landed him directly on the top of his head. Like Vic said, "Ooh, it landed on the top of his neck," but no, he landed skull flat.
Whenever they land high up, they're like, "Oh, they landed really high up on their shoulders," and I'm like, "Sir, they just caved their skull in."
It was like a poison Rana driver.
Yeah, I'm sure it was not meant to be, but the height and the weight difference probably led to that.
Oh yeah.
So Gargano then goes for one final beat, and Reed basically just plants him against the cage wall. Attempts the one final beat again after Bronson goes to escape and gets the door slammed in his face. Johnny starts climbing again, and Bronson tries to meet him up there. Ends up getting a waterfall while Gargano is basically at the top of the cage. Throws him right down onto the mat. Bronson starts climbing, and Theory goes to distract again. And Bronson starts fighting Theory, has to fight Gargano at the same time. He drops both Gargano and Theory, and suddenly I was like, oh my god, I know what's going to happen. Bronson Reed goes off the top as Johnny tries to escape, crushing him, and then we get a fucking tsunami because my baby boy is the fucking champion. My baby boy.
He did it. He did it.
I'm so proud of him.
He is now.
He was like crying, and I was like, I'm crying.
He went for the pin. As he was holding the pin and the count was happening, you could see him starting to cry. Like, this was massive. And he is now the third Australian to have a championship right now. You got Rhea, you got Indy, and now you got Bronson. It's a truly wonderful thing. It really is. So now, do you want to move on to bests of the night?
No, I suppose.
And since I've been, like I said last podcast, I've been giving star ratings to matches now, but now I'm averaging them up to find out the rating of the episode. And the rating of this episode is the exact same as the one I gave to Backlash.
Is that good or bad?
That's good. It means that this was a pay-per-view level NXT episode. Right now the lowest rated thing is it's Dark Elevation. But I mean, what can you expect from a Dark? You're not going to get much. All right, so promo of the night. Let's start off with that. We started with the interview with Legado del Fantasma. This was fine. I didn't like that they started off with like, don't worry about where Santos is. Just don't. Then we had the car getting pulled into CWC. It's Cameron Grimes. That was fun. It was a little funny. The way massage was really funny. It's Dexter all disappointed, all heartbroken and sad. I don't know if he'll realize that Indy didn't mean those things. We might see Indy get the silence. Whether or not she gets the silence in the ring or in bed.
Marcus.
One's good, one's bad.
I'm not complaining on that end.
Then we had the Prime Target. That was great. They do such a good job with their Prime Targets. Circling in Pat McAfee and Paul Heyman, just it really stepped this up.
It gives a relevance to the match that's really needed in NXT that was annoying that they weren't getting for a while.
Yeah. Then we had Bronson Reed's promo. This was very emotional. It gives much more weight to the match. It gives more importance to Bronson side of things. Really nice. Pete Dunne's interview was very human, down to earth. It was great. Dakota and Raquel's interview I thought was a little Everrise coming in was funny. That made it for a great moment. But everything else in that promo was just, it was fine. Then we had Bobby Fish's interview. It was kind of nothing there. I mean, besides challenging Pete Dunne, it was just a generical interview. Then we had the second The Way promo, where Indy realizes that Dexter still loves her. That was great, a great addition. I'll loop that in with the first one. Then we had Johnny and Austin's promo, which was just a cliche promo. Then we had Shotzi and Ember in their promo. That was alright. The Diamond Mine promo was whatever. Regal's interview was really interesting because it shows that they're constantly like changing and working on things within the title scenes. It's never really static. It's like, okay, we're finding new talent, we're finding new opponents here, here, and here. It's not just like, oh, Drew McIntyre's fighting Bobby Lashley for the 4th time, which I'm still mad about. And then lastly, we had the Frankie Monet video package, which is the same exact one we got last week. So, with all that said, my pick for promo of the night, it's The Way getting massages. It was so funny. It opens the door for the next part of the story. And it was just well done. And I like that the masseuse left her mask on.
Yes, good on the masseuse. And also, I thought it was really well done too, because I was wondering how they were gonna make it so it was like Indy finds out that Candice kind of fucked her over, but she doesn't get mad about it.
Yeah.
I think it was really well done.
Alright, so Wrestler of the Night now. We started off with Toni Storm versus Zoe Stark. I gotta go with Toni. She looked bonkers. She looked wild. She put up an amazing performance. It's rare of her to be able to outshine somebody like Zoe Stark, but she really did it. She fucking killed it. Then we had Cameron Grimes versus Jake Atlas. I'm picking Jake Atlas. Cameron Grimes didn't do a whole lot. He did fine, but I think Jake Atlas kind of just did the best of the two. Then we had Killian Dane versus Alexander Wolf. It was a very short match, but I gotta go with Killian Dane. Wolf didn't do a whole lot. Then we had Legado del Fantasma versus Thatcher and Champa. I am going with Raul Mendoza. Gave a once-in-a-lifetime performance. Got the heart beat out of him, but still fucking put on an amazing match. Great performance. Literally the best we've ever seen of him. Then we had Saray versus Aaliyah. I'm going with Saray. Aaliyah she was okay, but Saray gave a good performance. It was good.
Yeah, no, she was amazing.
Yeah. Then we had Hit Row versus Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. Basically, Hit Row versus 205 Live. I gotta go with Top Dollar. Top Dollar was great. And they really did a great job at showing off Ashante Adonis's and Top Dollar's chemistry and characters in just one short match. They did such a good job. Like when Ashante was beating the shit out of, I think it was Nese in the corner, and the count was happening. Top Dollar realized, oh shit, the count's happening. He's not gonna pull away, so let me just tag in real quick, and I'll hold him back. That was a really well thought out bit. Great
and
stuff.
it shows that like they're in tune with each other and not just like they've all got such strong characters that like sometimes you can lose like the fact that you also have to have chemistry with like your team.
Mm-hmm.
But showing that was like, no, they know each other.
Yeah.
And they know, and like the fact that Top Dollar was able to kind of talk Ashante down was like, oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right,
Mm-hmm.
we got something here.
Yeah. It shows that they have chemistry, but they're all individuals at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Then we had finally Johnny Gargano versus Bronson Reed. I have to go with Bronson. Johnny's very close because he was able to powerbomb Bronson and deliver that amazing Poison Rana, but Bronson fought his heart out. He poured his heart into this match. This was an amazing performance from him, and it will be a once in a lifetime for him. But now going to the wrestler of the night. Out of all the matches, who I thought was the best, I know exactly who I'm going to pick. I'm going to go with Raul Mendoza. He poured his heart into that match. I know I just said the same about Bronson, but he fought with his entire soul and gave an amazing performance while getting the shit beaten out of him. We've never seen anything like this from him before. Really fantastic stuff that he gave us.
I'm not saying no to Raul Mendoza. I would never say no to Raul Mendoza.
Okay, I wasn't sure the face you were giving me. I wasn't sure if that was like, oh god, you picked him and not Bronson, or you picked him and not Saray, or him and not Tony Storm. Because honestly,
I'm on the Mendoza train every day of my life. So
today it could have gone to Mendoza, Tony Storm, Bronson Reed, any of them. All of them did fantastic jobs, but Raul Mendoza, he gave us something we'd never seen from him before. It was fantastic.
We're getting more of Mendoza and Wild getting to like show themselves off than we had in a while.
Uh-huh.
I'm enjoying that a lot.
And I think this happened when MSK came into the scene and showed that they had incredible chemistry as a tag team, and it's really livened up the tag scene. I feel like it's been giving everyone the need to kind of shape up, give better performances, and just
Shape up or ship out.
Sure. All right, so match of the night. So we had Tony Storm versus Zoe Stark. A great match, really hard-fought match that gave us a good ending with Frankie Monet coming in, and we have a carrying off point. But I can't kind of get over the fact that this felt like a very one-sided match. This felt like Tony Storm giving a fantastic performance, and Zoe Stark, she was fine. You know, it felt very one-sided.
You know, it's gonna kind of be a little bit of a crux to Tony, or not to Tony, Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
That Zoe came out doing so well that now that's like my baseline for her.
Yeah. But after that we had Cameron.
Because I was just gonna say, it's not to say that she didn't do a good job.
Yeah.
She did. It's like, well, yeah, that's Zoe.
Yeah. But not to say there isn't more of a ceiling for her to reach. We just haven't seen that point yet. But after that, we had Jake Atlas versus Cameron Grimes. Good match. Ted DiBiase's interruption / distraction. It was a distraction, but it was a well done distraction. It's something that's been built up to and fits with the story. Is a carrying off point in a match that kind of had no right, like it didn't make sense in the first place, so like it's fine that it was interrupted, But regardless, it was still interrupted, but it was a fine match otherwise. Then we had Killian Dane versus Alexander Wolf. Incredibly short match. Incredibly short. That ended with an attempted DQ. The match itself, it was fine. It was alright, whatever. But the ending is what really matters here when Imperium turned on Wolf. That's the real meat of this segment. After that, we had Legado del Fantasma versus Thatcher and Champa. This match was much better than it had any right to be. Amazing tag team work that featured like actual teamwork between everyone. We had everyone like doing like trying to get pins at the same time, doing submissions at the same time, doing assisted moves. It was really well done. Everyone put up their whole hearts in this match, gave amazing performances. It was great. This was fantastic. After that, Aaliyah versus Saray. This was a fine match. Saray gave a good performance. Aaliyah, it was alright. This match it was an exhibition match, whatever. Then we had Hit Row versus Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. This match was fun, necessary, and exceeded expectations because we got those elevated characters. We got a really nice glimpse in such a short amount of time, and we saw the power of Top Dollar.
I've been watching too much Chopped, I think. Because when you say elevated characters, I'm just thinking of like when like the judges are like, this is like a really elevated palette. I'm like,
that's what I meant.
Well, you got it right.
After that, finally, we have Bronson Reed versus Johnny Gargano. Steel cage match for the NXT North American Championship. This was a very well fought match. Great stuff from both guys. Austin distracting and trying to play a hand in the match, fit within character, fit within story, and at the end of the day, Bronson was able to still fight through it and win. Great use of a distraction, and not really distraction, but an assist. And then just the pure emotion from Bronson afterwards shows how much this match meant to him, how big of a match this was. It was great stuff. I didn't mention with tag match that GYV coming in kind of soured it a little bit. I mean, out of all the distractions that happened today or all the interruptions, that was probably the worst one. But with Bronson and Johnny, it was an incredibly well put on match, and Bronson deserves the title. And my pick for match of the night overall is Aaliyah versus Saray.
Ooh.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
No. I'm going with Bronson Reed versus Johnny Gargano.
Okay, so no offense. I honestly would have just been like, yeah, sure.
Oh, really?
Well, only because I figured, I was like, well, I'm surprised he didn't choose Bronson, but I'm sure he'll give me his reasoning. That's also because that's how good that match was, in my opinion.
See, I didn't really like it. Aaliyah was
I liked that a lot. I liked how Aaliyah looked.
Saray was like not as good as the last time we saw her. But
also, I know that you love the new layout, but I hate how close I am to this fucking sign all the time now.
Okay. So get rid of the sign.
On my birthday podcast. You tell me to get rid of the signs that I stay up till 4 a.m. painting?
They look beautiful.
Thank you. I'm gonna go with you on Bronson and Johnny though.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So to run it back, our promo of the night, The Way gets massages. Wrestler of the night, Raul Mendoza. Match of the night, Bronson Reed versus Johnny Gargano. Now, we open it up for Q&A time. We've got a couple questions. If you have a question that you want us to answer, leave it in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, leave it in the comments so that we can answer it in the next episode. Alright, so Miriam has a question.
Okay.
She asked, who do you guys think Diamond Mine will be or consist of if it's a faction? It's definitely going to be a lot of trainees. I have a feeling Arturo Ruas is going to be in it.
You think he's back?
There's been no word.
I thought he tore his ACL.
I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. Let me check. Because if he is fine, it's just weird that we haven't heard from him in a while. Heard about him in a while.
Well, he's injured. I know that much.
He would be like the perfect fit. So he revealed in December that he had a successful surgery.
Or what?
Arm injury.
Oh.
It was against Kushida.
Yeah, no, I remember when he got injured, I just didn't know what it was. My brain just automatically assumes if it's an injury that takes time, it is a torn ACL.
And he revealed that back in December, which was 5 months ago.
Okay.
So this would be a good time for him to come back. 5 months is enough time to recover from something like that. So we could...
I'd love for it to be like Ruas, Rust, maybe Marina.
I don't see Rust because he's with Malcolm Bivens right now.
But also we suffer every fucking day.
Marina Shafir I could see. Since it is a very MMA focused faction, it'll probably also be some new people, some people that were just signed because a lot of names were signed.
Ooh, do you think Parker will be part of it?
No, he seems like the traditional wrestler. Plus,
break my heart, but okay.
He just started training when Eva Marie was announced, so I don't think that would be enough time for him to train up and get into wrestling. I'm trying to think of NXT guys that are kind of no-showed right now. We haven't seen in a while. MMA, maybe Roddy. Maybe Roddy's leading it.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, Diamond Mine was announced around the time that Roddy quit.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Imagine Roddy, Arturo Ruas, Marina Shafir. Trying to think of other people. Who else? Who else is like a MMA person? Maybe I want to say like Xia Li, but she's got her own thing with Tian Sha.
I really do hope Marina's part of it because it seems right up her alley. I do hope that it's mixed as well. I hope it's not just Ben.
Hit Row is a good sign since that's mixed.
True. And what better than to
ignore it. Just ignore it. Just ignore it.
What better than to have a new faction that comes out? Could also feud with Hit Row, like, beat for beat, as far as like men and women.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think of people on 205 Live that could be in it.
Arya could work well in that. He's really technical.
Yeah, but MMA, I think that's less technical, more of like strikes.
Yeah, but technical is a lot of striking.
Maybe Timothy Thatcher reveals he's in it like next week.
Fine. Fine. Get him away from Tommaso.
We also have another question from Milam on YouTube. He asked us on the Backlash podcast. But who is your guys' favorite wrestler you've seen from watching older WWE shows who isn't currently active?
Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon, that's a good one.
Fucking love him. His character's amazing. He's fun to watch in the ring. There's a cat.
Should I go
to do with Razor?
Active not in WWE or just active, not active in wrestling?
There might be a call.
I mean,
You watch more current. I would also say Lita.
Lita's a good option.
Yep.
Part of me also say Kevin Nash. God, I gotta think about this. I want to say Brock Lesnar. But I don't think he's my favorite.
Shawn Michaels, I would also say.
Oh, I'm gonna say Stone Cold.
Okay.
Stone Cold's my favorite because I saw his match against Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental title. I think that's what it was for, or when they were breaking up their tag team, and they got a double count out in that match. It was just fucking fantastic.
Shawn Michaels, I would say, just because Shawn Michaels had both like the ridiculous character and the fucking awesome ability in the ring. It's sad that Shawn Michaels was so awesome while he was tearing his life apart. But he's one of my favorites, and he still is to this day.
Randy Savage too is up there for me.
You would really like watching old Raw because he's just on commentary for most of it, and he's a goddamn nut.
So I'd say Stone Cold and Randy Savage.
I'd say Razor Ramon / Scott Hall and Shawn Michaels.
Okay. All right. I'm also trying to think of like everyone who showed up for Legends Night. It's like, did I like any of them? I feel like
those are the people I shy away from the most.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm also not really a fan of women's wrestling in that time, just because my only reference is like Molly Holly. I don't really like Molly Holly, but she's legit the only person I think of when I think of women's wrestling in that time.
Yeah. Get it.
But yeah, so that wraps up the Q&A. Unless anyone puts in any other questions before the podcast wraps. But thank you all for watching. Liz, would you like to close out the show?
I would. If you watched tonight, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us for our Liz's birthday episode. We only get this once a year, and it's pretty much amazing. The second Liz's birthday episode is the Mike Romies, and that's just because that's basically a birthday in and of itself for me. So please tune in, I guess tune in on Friday for whatever the hell Mark has planned. And if it goes all wrong, you know what? I'll still be by my phone. You can text me.
Don't call mom. Don't call mom.
So yeah, I guess this is me giving up the reins. Oh no.
We've got a lot in store.
I do not trust you.
Alright. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Follow, subscribe, all that jazz. If you're subscribed, you'll be able to watch this podcast or the past 2 weeks of podcasts without having wait for me to upload it to YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the live show. But if you want to check out our YouTube, it is the Pinfall Podcast on YouTube. Our Twitter, right down below, is at Pinfall Podcast. I am at the Mark Cameron on Twitter. Liz is at ElizaElane23. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you on Friday, or I'll see you on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. But until then, have a fantastic Wednesday and Thursday.